Welcome to Vestibular Workshops. I'm here today to tell you about the problems we help our delegates solve. So we have a number of varieties of people who come to our workshops. First category, they know they're working with the vestibular system. They're doing it already, but they don't quite understand it and they don't want to guess. So their work's a bit hit and miss. So some of these delegates report to us that when they've gone through our process is what used to take 6 weeks might now take 1 to 2. Or another report we had was, I used to give people 20 general exercises and now I just give them the 3 to 4 that I know work. So this is talking about great leaps in efficiency. Now, the most heartbreaking category for me is some of the people who call me, they're several years in to their study and they ask questions about details that just make it clear that they don't have a solid framework to lay those details on. So these people are dear to my heart also. So we're going to also solve problems for them. So let's talk about the solution, which is basically everything I wish I knew when I first started 10 years ago. Okay, here's the situation. You probably went into healthcare because you love people and you love helping people. And it's really satisfying to take them from here, where they're not so well, to here, where they are more well. Sometimes the journey might look a little bit more like this. So it's great when you see them get better, but it's frustrating when they aren't getting better or aren't getting better predictably, or even worse, when they don't stay better or get worse. So you might see people with recurrent headaches, stiff necks, even some anxiety, poor balance, or even just people who aren't as sharp as they used to be or as they desire to be. And you don't want that anymore. So what if I told you that there was a solution, or that there was a fundamental system that precisely mapped and detected gravity, number 1, and number 2, registered and responded to movement in all the ways you can move. And we have a great infographic, a powerful infographic that we use for this that I'll show you later. And it was essential, this system was essential to quality movement, thought, and mood. Now that'd make sense, but that information is great. But what if I told you something even more useful, that there was a way to check 2 fundamental systems that were direct windows to the function of what was actually happening, and that you could learn to check it in under 1 minute. And that it could just change what you're already doing while also providing an unshakable foundation for further learning. Now that'd be good, wouldn't it? So we're going to introduce you briefly to a powerful infographic that we use as part of our workshops. And I'm going to teach you to look at a couple of things. So I'm going to go through it. We're going to look at number 1, the vestibular representations inside the brainstem at the vestibular nuclei, and they're here. We're going to look at number 2, the 3 things that go in via the cerebellum to help the brain map those things. And probably one of the most important things for us is what we can test and measure. So we're going to look specifically at eye movements and then body movements. But we're also going to be mindful of the things in the brain that contribute to things like headaches, stiff necks, anxiety, and balance. So let's have a look. All right, here's our number 1. This is the brainstem. And a lot of people think about the vestibular system in terms of just this end organ out here, but that's only one of 3 things that goes in to help the brain determine these things, these outputs, being mostly gravity and movement. Okay, so we're going to look at that first, then we're going to look at the 3 different receptors, and then we're going to look at 2 outputs. There's actually 3, so there's everything that goes to the brain to deliver these things. But then there's eyes and body. So specifically eyes is the VOR, and which just keeps the head and the eyes independent. So when you move your head around, your eyes stay exactly on target one-to-one gain. We'll cover that term later. Gain, that can be something that confuses people, but it doesn't need to ever again. And also body. So it's basically, how does the body respond to movement and to gravity? And what are 3 simple checks that reflect this vestibular map?